Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Zen Dog Training, a show dedicated to helping people train the dogs they love. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Gordon Fontaine.
Gordon, it's exciting to be back with you to cover this amazing episode. I love this title that you've given it. I'll go ahead and let you say it.
Your dog is a habit-making machine.
It gets me every time. And it's so true. And you're going to speak to this a lot, I'm sure, but this is what dogs do. They pick up habits.
That's right. They learn through trial and error based on what they get away with. And they're constantly making their own decisions about the world, and the habits establish very quickly.
Very quickly. And I know that they say 21 or 28 days to form a new habit and also to break a habit.
That's right. That's right. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up as a topic of habits is that I get a lot of people who come to me with a puppy and they've waited weeks, maybe they've waited months, and they come to me and now they have this dog who's created all these unwanted habits. And so the training is doubly difficult, I guess we would say, because I have to first break the unwanted habits before teaching the new habits.
So true. Reminds me of that Chicago song, Hard Habit to Break. A classic. No, it's so true. You can't build something new until you correct the wrong. And that is definitely tricky.
Unless you start with a trainer from the beginning.
That's right. Exactly.
I ran into someone over the weekend who had a new puppy. They've been in the house for almost 4 weeks, and they were saying, oh, he only has one mistake a day in the house.
Just one. And we're going to live with it.
As you know, most of our dogs are house trained in 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
Because we don't let them get away with those little mistakes that kind of make the training not clear. Like every time you let your dog get away with something, they don't establish the right rules. They don't make the right habit.
Right. Yeah. And I like that they've accepted that as, status quo. It's okay that he's going to make that mistake. And meanwhile, that dog, it's not a mistake. It's just a habit.
Yeah. It hasn't learned. They haven't made it clear what the rules should be because they've been lackadaisical, I guess is the word. They just haven't been focused on creating good habits from the get-go.
So I know that you have some news to share with us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I do have a new puppy in my life, in our lives.
Awesome.
One of my clients adopted they bought a Cocker Spaniel puppy, and they're 80 years old, the woman is, and she fell at night with the puppy, and she realized she's just not in the right place to have a new puppy.
That's a sad story, and I hope she's okay.
Yes, she was okay, bruised from head, all over. But she said, Gordon, I want you to take this puppy. That way she lives in Somerville as well, so maybe she could still see the puppy, and she thought she'd make me happy. I have to say, compared to my Jack Russell puppy, having a Cocker Spaniel puppy is very comparatively easy.
That's not something you do lightly. To bring a new dog into the home is a big thing, and you haven't had a puppy in a while of your own.
13 years, yeah. And it's funny, a lot of times clients have said to me, well, I assume you get puppies all the time, but if someone is not a good adoption, it's not my place to try to take every new puppy in.
Exactly.
But this puppy was young, maybe I think 12 to 13 weeks when I said I'd take her in for a week to see how it goes. And then, of course, 2 days into it, she was mine.
Well, now this begs the question. New puppy in the home. You're a master trainer. You've had all this experience. What is it like for you to have to do this? Not just train someone else to do it, but you're doing the training of a young puppy.
Well, that's why this topic came up, because I've seen a couple of examples. I'm a trainer, so I'm very consistent about the rules. And even though this puppy had learned to pee and poop in the woman's house for weeks before I had her, it only took 3 or 4 days before she was consistently going outside.
Wow.
We probably had a mistake a week for the first couple of weeks, and now we haven't had any, knock on wood, for almost at least 3 weeks. But the thing that was interesting is that I went out of town and I let the puppy, Helly, stay with a sitter for 3 days. And when I got the puppy back, she was fine, healthy, happy, maybe a little unbrushed and unwashed. But she had a habit now of trying to eat stuff off the ground.
New habits.
Yeah, she had a brand new habit.
Wow.
And it was just remarkable how just 3 days of being with someone else, an inconsistent, in this case, it was a sitter, but an inconsistent family member, person in your house, really undermines the training.
Yeah. And the dog's just there scooping it up like, hey, I'm getting away with this now. This is great. It's not
Yeah.
right or wrong to the dog.
Right. The stuff on the ground probably tastes delicious.
Probably does.
And so what I've done to change this is I got really consistent again about bringing treats on every walk. I always do anyway, but a little more rewarding her for checking in with me. And then I did a little more interruptions around trying to eat gross stuff. And we're on track to change it. But it really helped me realize that in a regular household, especially a big family with kids, that
Yeah.
consistency is difficult to establish. And if you don't have that level of consistency, it's going to be more challenging to train your dog to be a Zen dog.
That's so true. The more people in the home, the more variables. You might have grandmother living there and she's always slipping the dog treats or who knows what's happening. But you're right. It undermines what you're doing. So I guess you have to be a cohesive unit,
Yeah,
with the puppy. More communication about that.
more communication, and also just a big reminder to my listeners, and if you're really trying to apply this training to your own dog, that just letting your dog get away with something unwanted once in a while, even once a day, once a week, really undermines the ability to make and establish a strong positive habit. If you have
That's a
that
good point.
that little bit of chance to do something that's not on the program, then the puppy learns, well, sometimes I get away with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really worry about clients who feel frustrated because they haven't doubled down enough with the consistency and the practice to compensate for having, kids in the house or grandma who slipped some food or whatever that it's usually a grandparent or someone who lets the dog jump, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I know you're dealing with a puppy. Helly's a puppy still, but do you see the habit forming, the bad habits that is, or anything, more in the puppies, or do adult dogs have this same thing? They quickly pick up a habit, or what do you
Absolutely.
notice?
Absolutely. I think that dogs of all ages learn very quickly, especially if something is good for them, like eating gross things on a walk
Yeah.
or jumping up or they get what they want. They get their muddy paws on someone. So if the behavior is rewarding to the dog, they'll quickly keep doing it. And before you know it, you have a habit you need to unteach. And that's extra hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So all dogs, as the title says, your dog is a habit-making machine.
That's right. Your puppy too. But yes, both
Yes.
puppies and dogs are always learning.
Now, the good thing about this, them being habit-making machines, is the fact that they could all be good habits. They want to learn good habits too.
That's right. The conclusion here is that because of the way dogs learn by making habits and through trial and error, your focus needs to be on this consistency of the rules and boundaries. And if you can get everyone on the same page, the training and the learning happens so much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bringing Helly home to your environment and you and your wife can work with her. And I'm sure that habit's almost gone, right? The one that she just picked up.
Exactly. It's only been 3 or 4 days and
Yeah.
it's almost changed.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of doctors follow their own advice. And often they don't, right? But you, Gordon, of Zen Dog Training do. And it was like, here's a challenge for me, really. Here's a challenge to overcome bringing a new dog in the home. And you're faced with things that you deal with others. It was probably a good test for you.
It was, and it's going well so far.
Well, that is fantastic and a great episode to unpack here for people as you deal with things in the real world. Well, please, please, please check out zendogtraining.net for everything that's on there. There's downloads, there's comic books, and you can even stream this podcast on there. And please check out Just Curious Media for all the other shows we produce. Gordon, until next time, wonderful job.
Thank you, Jason. I had a blast.